My name is John and I'm at Paint School on Instagram. I've done over $15 million in paint jobs and I'm based out of Huntington Beach, California. Aaron is at Alpha Painting on Instagram. He's managed huge commercial projects with impossible timelines and now is a few years into building his own operation out of Branson, Missouri.
And you should probably check out our full process videos on YouTube because they're pretty badass.
Our point in doing this podcast is to put our 40 plus years of combined experience to the test. We've seen a decline in the industry, and while I think it's a bit arrogant to think we can change it, we're giving it a shot. Listen up and let us know what you think. This is Paint Sniffers Podcast. All right, we've got Sam the Right Painter on. I think anybody who listens to this is going to know who he is already. We're going to do some paint talk. All right, so this idea, estimating strategy, we had talked a little bit about, do we do something on pricing? I'm sure all of our pricing is different just because of where we live, what kind of clients we have, and then even what we want out of it, right? Like my pricing is going to be different because I want to get more jobs, so I'm probably going to be more competitive. Sam, you're in a market where you can charge whatever the fuck you want and
get
your jobs. Yeah. Yeah. But estimating strategy, that'll be maybe like more of a general idea that gets us to where our pricing is. But like my estimating strategy, I'm trying to be competitive, so like I'm not trying to be competitive with like the low ball guys out there. But there's maybe like 4 or 5 companies that are competitive with me, with what we offer, with how we stand behind our work. We're using premium lines of paint. Those are the guys that I compete with, and so my pricing, I'm trying to be competitive with them. I'm okay if I'm a little higher, but I don't want to be a lot higher. I don't want to be too high where I'm pricing myself out of work because I do want more jobs. But Sam, what is your estimating strategy like? Where are you trying to be?
Definitely different from yours because you have a lot of mouths to feed. How many employees do you have right now?
I think we're at like 18 or 19 right now, plus a couple subs.
Yeah, I have 3 and an office manager, and I had a lot of people at one time, and that was just the constant marketing that I had to do to get clients and keep all of those people fed. So now we strategize with word of mouth in a sense, and we do market a little bit in the Facebook mom and pop groups, mostly recommendations and a few interior designers that we target market, and a couple military contracts. So when we're doing really well and super busy, it's a lot of the higher end contracts, and I can bid the smaller jobs, I can bid them higher to not get them in a sense. So I basically price everything at the same always, whether we're slow or not, because my philosophy is if I take a bunch of little jobs and one of these big clients comes in that pays the big money, because we're a smaller crew, we'll be caught up with all of those jobs and not have the time to accommodate.
Yeah, so you don't want to get stuck. You're committed to 8 small jobs, and then the big moneymaker comes in and you can't do it because they want it done in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And we can adjust with that because we do have 3 guys and myself. Like I can, if we are on a job, I can break off and do a bunch of smaller ones once I have everybody set up, or I can take one of the guys with me. So I mean, two jobs going at the same time is ideal. It does happen, but not very often because we don't advertise. So.
Yeah, word of mouth is probably the best kind of work, in my opinion. We do a ton of business by word of mouth, and those ones, like, we don't get haggled as much. Payments are easier to collect. They're more understanding if things go wrong, right? If we make any mistakes, they know that we're going to take care of it. Way easier money to do word of mouth work.
Yeah, and I use word of mouth is next door I use a lot of the free apps. I'd used Thumbtack for a while, and once I didn't need it, I stopped using it. But
Yeah.
Nextdoor, I didn't even know. I just started getting calls from people, and I was like, "Oh, how'd you hear about us?" "Oh, Nextdoor." So I set up a profile, and we got a contractor of the year for our thing this year, and I didn't even realize that. So that's
Yeah.
what I mean by word of mouth. Like we do market a little bit by putting up profiles. Nothing that can publicly be criticized like Yelp or Google, because that would give us way too many calls that I would spend most of my time driving to bids of looky-loos. So basically pre-screening in a sense by just not being public.
Yeah. Aaron, what about you? Estimating strategy.
Yeah. So initially, when I fired off, I started this company with nothing. So I mean, I'm up right now. I've probably got like $50,000 of tools in the last 3 years. And when I fired off, I was just creating debt pretty much. Like get the kind of jobs that are going to get money coming in, and then I'll deal with the consequences later. So I took on production right off the bat, and I did it. With my background, I did it knowing that I'm going to have to come in low in order to get it, and I can use my methods and stuff to make up on the back end, and just get the shit fucking done and get the money coming in. I've since changed my strategy. We've kind of pulled out of all of our production. I've made an attempt to compete with some of these contractors that are bidding new spec and new custom homes, and I've pretty much priced myself out of that. So I've kind of changed my whole strategy into just trying to track down homeowners that want quality repaints. I don't exactly know what's working. I've put in a shit ton of work, and just sleepless nights trying to figure it out, and just constantly estimating and constantly in the field, and taking on way more than I really fucking should, but it's working. I think I've recently upped my prices and stuff, and I've been bidding a lot more jobs and getting a lot less work, but dude, we're fucking crazy busy right now, so I don't really know. My strategy with estimating, I like in general the word estimating. I think is to write a extremely well written proposal. So I can only assume I've seen some proposals from customers here and there, and I haven't really put in a bunch of work in trying to view other contractors' proposals, but I'm always go at it in the assumption that my goal is to make everyone else look stupid. So like extremely well written. I'm probably wasting too much time writing them. I'm thinking about it too much. I'm spending several hours on something that I want really bad, and just making it as wordy and intelligent and completely informative as I can, and then I submit a video that would pertain to the project we're going to tackle, and I submit that, and I try to deal with the customers less, and use that strategy to get them to bite and not talk myself out of a fucking job. So
I would love to have videos that we can send with this, and I've talked to you about this before, Aaron. But I think my closing rates would increase significantly if I had some videos of us doing the project, what it looks like to have us like in your house, or working on the outside of your house. Just a quick clip, um, showing different parts of the project, different parts of the process. I think that would help a ton. Um, yeah, it's something we don't do, but I've been wanting to do it for a while.
Yeah, I started doing that with the Instagram videos, the daily, and then I put them on my Facebook, and I send those to clients like, "Oh, this is what we're gonna do to your house." And
Mhm.
it's weird, like a lot of it is trial and error, like learning your groove for how to do estimating. And I used to shoot big and do the full detail, and I found I was spending all of my evenings just typing the same shit over and over. So now I do my sales, in a sense, the letting them see who I am in the estimate because I do them all myself. And I give them a price. I text them a price, take a little video. If they don't like the price, or they're interested, they'll either not call me or they'll say, "Oh, we went with somebody else," and I'll say, "That's fine." Because we do have a large influx of estimates coming in. I don't have to like waste hours in my evening typing everything out. But I used to. I used to full detailed prescription. Uh, and now I just give them a number. They either say yes or no. Some people do want the full detailed estimate, and I will do that, but I don't do it unless they ask now. So it's all about the
Yeah.
number.
What I started doing, because I was, you brought up writing the same shit over and over again. I mean, this isn't like cutting edge fucking technology, but I started writing specifications for everything. Every time I read an estimate, I separate spec for any given situation, and then I put it all and I store it in my my notepad on my computer or my phone, and then I can just search that spec and then I copy and paste to my new proposals. And I'm starting to get to the point to where I can start recycling stuff and putting one together a lot faster.
That's technology. That's the beginning of technology.
We used to hand type them every night. I worked for a company. We had the largest ad in the yellow pages in Denver back before computers, and that's how I learned to bid was go home every night on triple carbon copy, type everything out over and over, and now I have it on my Google Docs, and it's the same stuff I was typing, 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys are like on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to submitting your estimates, right? Where Aaron wants to be fully detailed, and then Sam, you're a text message.
well, you kind of have to be like what Aaron's doing now until you've established that credibility with all that, and then you'll get to a point where you're like, all right, these people already know who I am coming in the door. It's not like a cold call, sales like, hey, buy Amway or something like that. It's just like, hey, we know who you are already. We've seen your presence on social media, um, things like that. So over time, once you've established, you'll go, what was that thing Sam said about just sending him a number? Because and then send the paperwork later. Like, and half the time we don't even do paperwork with our jobs. I don't think I've sent a contract probably in about a year and had them sign it. So, but it took time.
Yeah, I used to do business that way too, and I miss it. Handshake deals, and everyone's fair with one another. And if it got missed originally, and I think you owe me a little extra, you just pay it, right? If you thought it was included and I can cover it, I just cover it. I used to do everything that way for a long time. And it was only when we started really expanding and I stopped being on the jobs where clients would feel like, oh, well, I think those three doors were included, right? And my
Oh
guys
yeah,
just do
yeah.
them, all that kind of shit. And then it got to like, well, you're supposed to do this. You said you guys were doing the bedroom. How come you're not doing the baseboards, right? It's like, well, we talked about baseboards. You said you didn't want to. Well, that's why would you paint a bedroom and not paint the baseboards? Like, I don't know. Fucking people do that shit all the time. I ask the same question, but some people don't.
Can you just paint this wall in this room and this wall in that room and
Yeah.
the ceiling over here, but not the whole ceiling? Just
Uh huh.
yeah,
Yep.
get that a lot.
So then we just kind of had to start doing really detailed quotes, make sure that they sign off on it and everything in there is as it is. So we do a lot of detail in hours. Um, and when things were smaller, I could do a text message or an email or just like a Word doc, and send that over. Um, but now, we have like automatic DocuSign that comes in with our estimate, shit like that. So we don't have to do all those things. There's some automation. But I miss the good old days, when you can do a handshake deal. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate it's not like that anymore. Not here anyway.
I just found my time more valuable in my,
Yeah.
because but I also, I'm on every job every morning until I don't need to be.
Hmm.
and discussing, and they usually the client's there and they're hearing me tell my guys this, yes, that, no. And very rarely is there any indecision from a customer. And I can usually, over the years, you start to be able to read red flags pretty easy with customers. And if I see them coming, I bid accordingly. So if they do throw in that garage, we got it covered with our price.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are your clients, Sam, like the aloha mentality? Are your clients laid back, or do you have a lot of people that just have vacation homes there and they're California assholes just coming to visit Hawaii?
It's a little of both, man. It's so hard to explain the situation here with work ethic and supply and demand. Yeah, it's different. It's definitely a different world, and yeah, it's mostly the higher end, but we do a lot of auntie uncle jobs because they want to pay to do it right instead of their cousin coming over with a case of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's with anywhere. If you come in highly recommended, and there's not a whole lot of people highly recommended, you can pretty much write your own ticket.
Yeah. Here, there's a fair amount of highly recommended companies. There's some a fair amount here that do good work. They have like reputable companies. They've been around for a long time, so it's a little more competitive on the higher end side. Um, but they're not everywhere. So it's like in certain cities nearby, um, we'll look the best compared to almost anybody. It's like our quotes are super professional. Um, our salesperson sounds like he knows what he's talking about. We have lots of good reviews and all that shit. So it's easier, but there's more competition in certain parts of town.
Sure. I mean, there's lots of good painters here, and they're busy because they are good. And in my little network here, I know all of them, and we cross reference each other. They'll refer me, I'll refer them when
Hmm.
we're busy, and it works out. We get some, we don't. You know, they get some, they don't. But it helps us raise the price bar in our area if we're all, you know, in a good general range with each other. So
What about you, Aaron? Are you high priced?
When I started out, no, I was coming in low, like I said, just so I could get shit rolling,
Mm.
and then just using my methods to deal with that on the front end and the back end and stuff, and making up for it in terms of productivity. But now with just doing, trying to primarily focus on repaints because I'm pretty much pricing myself out of all new construction.
Mm.
Um, some stuff like I hadn't gotten any jobs in quite a while. Like I've bid a bunch of shit in like the last 3 or 4 months, and I may have gotten something, but I don't have anything off the top of my head. Like I have to pull up my schedule to kind of look back and see everything that I have. But I've gotten approvals on like 2 or 3 jobs in the last week or so. So I mean that probably puts me at being booked for the rest of the year, but um, the one of the last jobs I bid, I have my and then just in terms of bid theory, like I all of my interior stuff I usually bid off of a footage rate. My exteriors, I don't feel you can really put a footage rate on an exterior, so what I do is I'll pull measurements just to calculate material and sundries and stuff like that, and then I will, add a percentage for taxes off the material, and then I calculate man hours and kind of bid that way. So that one of these last exteriors I did, I bumped the man hours back by $10 an hour, and I got it. But I don't know if I would have, would I have still gotten it? Fuck, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I've been playing with the market lately, just because everything's fucking inflating. Gas is skyrocketing. Everything, dude. Groceries, everything's going up. So, um, I'm trying to compensate for that, and I'm still trying to understand. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to this fucking market. I think all these blue jean painters have fucking devalued this market, and it's fucking trash. And I just have to figure out how to fucking make it until I can move somewhere that, I can just get whatever the fuck I want without any questions asked.
Come on over. Come on over, man. Take over my shit. About 30 years is enough for me. I'm ready to retire, but I don't
Yeah.
want to lose what I
That
have for my guys.
you
So
know, my wife is from Hawaii, and we talk about it all the time. And dude, I would smooth if we can get shit sorted out. I would smooth come over there.
oh yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. If you if you know what you're doing and you get in with the right people, you can do pretty well over here. But if you just jump over and not know anybody, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Hey, that guy. I'm not gonna say the guy's name, Sam, but that dude that you was telling me about, he just like kind of cold called you and told you he was moving there. Is that still a go?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try and tell people the reality of what it's like anytime somebody, which I get hit up a lot about, like, hey, I'm gonna move to Hawaii, man, and do what you're doing, and it's like it's not that easy. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
who do you know here? Oh, I know you, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. John was just when before we went live, he was telling me what his rent was, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit, dude!"
Uh, oh, in
It's expensive where
California,
you are, though,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Hawaii is a different
yeah,
animal.
yeah. I think we're right under 3,000 a month for my place.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's definitely motivation to fucking go to work, man.
Yeah. That's what I told him once he told me, we were talking about money and stuff like that, and I was like, "Well, fuck then, dude, you're just a product of your fucking environment."
Yeah, you definitely have to budget well because we go through lulls as well, man, where I'm bidding everything and I'm not getting anything. I think I lost the last 25 bids, and there's maybe one that I really wanted because it was for a lot of money, and they went with the neighbor's painter guy,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. Yeah, those are always good.
yeah, and then they called us back because he could only finish half, and then I gave him the price for the other half, and then they said, "Oh, we'll wait for him," and I was like, "All right, whatever." Yeah, it's tough anywhere, and with the way our business is set up, if we don't get a job, if my guys all budget well, we're all like I got to a point where I was looking up Craigslist, like what are they paying painters now? Um, can I go work for you, John? Can I come bid for you in LA during the week
Yeah.
and or Long Beach or Huntington Beach, right? Yeah, and then come home on the weekends. Like I got to a point with that. Like, should I just start selling my trucks? And then boom, 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 I get the calls that I kind of wait on. So I don't really panic too much. But I would say last week I was, yeah, I was starting to think about it quite a bit. And then boom, cabinet job, and then three other bids, and all
Yeah.
highly recommended. So that definitely upped the game a little bit.
Yeah, man. I've been through so many of those periods. Like I don't even know how many. I can't even count, but so many times where I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I don't know what we're gonna do next week." But I would then like call back bids that I did previously and be like, "Hey, we just had an opening come up next week. Let me know if you want to take it. I can give you a little discount." Like, but I don't have dick on the schedule.
And that's what I could tell anybody who's not like super scaled up, like and has all their shit together, which not every painter does. It doesn't. It's not going to get any better in 30 years. This market it changes a little bit, but it's actually gotten worse because there are so many people that jump in, and then home and garden television. Everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough. There's always people that are going to do it for dirt cheap, and like some of the prices, like here, so locally, like there's a big Vietnamese population, and it's like all their family works on the job,
Like
and
Westminster.
yeah, exactly. And notoriously, they do stuff for like dirt cheap prices. It's like they're not paying payroll taxes or any of that stuff, and pay super cheap. It's like family that flew in and they're all living in one house, and it's like you can never compete with them. Like I've had, but they usually do kind of shitty work too, you know.
Yeah.
And so we've been in some of the neighborhoods, like the Vietnamese neighborhoods, and one lady, like she referred us to all the neighbors. She's like, "You should really get in here. Like, there's, the not everybody wants to use the Vietnamese painters. Like some of these people want really good work, and like if you can get your foot in, like they're afraid to call people because they don't speak English, and so they're not going to just call you and ask for a quote, But if I refer you to them, then I can help you take care of it, blah blah blah, right?
So you're saying even they understand white privilege?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a reality. It really is. Like, and that's why I didn't want to get into the situation here in Hawaii because it is a similar situation. So, and my white face does get me through a lot of doors that some people can't get through. And I want to be somebody, some rich person's tax write-off or somebody's money laundering job. Like we just bought a house on the beach for 10 million. We're gonna paint it like 10 times so we can
Yeah.
spend that money. That's my clientele.
Yeah, I did a project for a Chinese family last year, and they bought this house cash, like $16 million. They paid 130,000 cash for our lacquer job for all the interior, like wainscoting, cabinets, you name everything. And that was such a sketchy job because, like, I collected 30 grand up front, and it's all cash. So I got like one of those little cash pens, to check if they're real $100 bills. But then I was thinking, like, dude, are they gonna like follow me out of here? And like it's- tell someone to go rob me. Like, man, that was sketchy.
Well, Hawaii is a pretty popular place for real estate. So there's a lot of people, foreign investors that come in, and China was one. They were buying up the island, and um, basically they're getting control of the economy here
Hmm.
because they own everything. And they actually changed the law for out-of-state residents home buying. I'm not sure exactly the details of it, but I know that they did something to stop that. And
That's good because it here, like everybody's still paying cash for houses, and it's like $1 million is like the bottom, But everybody, like, I have friends who I have this contractor buddy who, um, they had a client. That's funny you said that. They have a client that they're doing this big remodel project, and it's like $1.5 million. They wanted to pay as much as they could in December before the new year for taxes, right? So they're going to pay that money anyway. Let's get it covered in 2021. And so they gave him $1 million. And so he was going to buy a house, 800 grand, and then instead of making the payments on the house, make the payments on the project, whatever, right? Not my business. Um, but with $800,000 cash, it's like any house that he looked at, everybody's also paying cash and paying more than asking. It's like it's crazy that you can come in with that much cash and you still can't get what you want. Like you come in cash, full asking price, and you're getting outbid with more cash. It's fucking nuts.
it's
It's
crazy.
happened all over the place here.
Yeah, sign me up for those paint jobs.
Our market's been fucked too, man. Like people have been fleeing the cities and to come here, like through all the COVID and all the bullshit that's been going on the last couple years, and it's inflated our real estate market. And this was one of the cheaper places you could live, and I'm sitting here looking at numbers that I'm like, fuck, that's like a California price. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the wages and like fucking it doesn't match what the cost of living is turning into. So
That's the same in Big Bear. We bought that place last year and we had to pay over asking price. Um, and all the local residents like hate all these Airbnb people, because
Yeah.
like there's like corporations buying up houses as soon as they come on the market, they're buying them so they can do Airbnb. Um, and there's not, it's like the population's like 13,000, I think. Um, so, but it's getting to a point where like there's more rentals than there are residents now. Like everybody's the prices are going up, so all the original owners are like selling that shit and moving to Arizona or wherever.
Yeah.
Um, but it's crazy what's doing in the market, kind of everywhere. Like
So
Texas is crazy.
did you get the place in Big Bear to kind of like gear up for the zombie apocalypse or what?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's yeah. I mean, if we get flooded here, tsunami, we'll just go up to the higher land.
Yeah, they cracked down on the Airbnbs here too, and they're only allowed so many per neighborhood now because that was a big thing. Obviously, it's Hawaii, and yeah, people still have to live here that are from here, man, and they're getting pushed off the island and having to move, and they shouldn't have to kick a native population out because they can't afford to live, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what's happening up there. It's like the anybody who's renting, like who lives there and works at the grocery store and is renting their apartment or renting a house, like the way that prices are going up everywhere, it's like the homeowners are like, well, I could get $1,000 more a month, so I'm raising the rent. Now the people that actually live there and actually work there either have to figure out a way to pay more or move. It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, some landlords here are just horrible. I hate when they call me to give an estimate because the tenant moved out and they want to charge the tenant so they can keep the deposit. I I, I absolutely hate that, and I'm like I feel bad for the tenant, and I just kind of tell them now, no, I don't do that. This
I don't like those either. Yeah, I have some of those. Yeah, they like to they want full detail, right? Because they're like, well, the tenant just moved out. I need it very detailed. That way I can charge them for it. I'm like, my prices are way too high for this. Like you should call someone else that's going to be more reasonable. That's not very fair to the tenant.
if you bid it in favor of the tenant too, like, and then they take you up on it, you're
Yeah,
like, fuck it.
yeah. My
Yeah.
office, we're in a new office right now, and my last office is like 800 square feet, and a new owner bought the building. It's only like 8 units or something like that, but it's in a decent part of town. And my rent there was 850 a month for like the last 6 years, and they were undercharging, but like the guy was old, he owned the building outright, and just never raised rent. So it was cool. Um, but the new owners came in and raised my rent to 3,900 a month, from 850 to 3,900.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. And so like all the tenants, we all knew each other and everything, and everybody's rent got like tripled or quadrupled just overnight. They gave us 30 days notice. So it's like, oh yeah, starting March 1st, rent is going to be this. It's like,
So,
fuck.
Alpha, Aaron, do you have shop space that you rent, or do you do it out of
I
house?
do not, man. I can't justify the cost. So I mean, right now, I've like I said, I've been kind of building this off the ground with nothing. So my priority has been to just accumulate equipment, and then I have some personal shit going on or whatever. But I've looked at like storage and office space, and that'd be nice to have a shop. I could do cabinets in or whatever, and just kind of do shit in a large boneyard. But I've looked into it in my area. I'm looking at like several thousands of dollars a month, and that is very expensive for my area. I don't see it being worth it. I think what I will probably do is probably try and buy a house that has a shop, or buy a house and build one on the property, and just do it somewhere where I own something. So
Yeah, you got a nice trailer.
Yeah.
You've
oh
got a
yeah,
nice trailer set up. Yeah, we can't
yeah,
have those here because it's everything's so close together, and there's no place to take a trailer and park it. And yeah,
yeah.
land is a commodity here. So
I just my goal with that was just to, like, it's my shit now, so I want to have nice shit, and I want to be organized, and I'm still in the field. I don't think I'd be buying $6,000 or $7,000 worth of sanding equipment to let like employees fuck up. So I just want to I want to have nice shit while I'm still in the field, and efficient equipment. So um, I kind of tried to build out the setup that I've always wanted somebody else to have.
Yeah,
Yep.
I deal with that on the regular, like all these awesome tools that we have. Like, I just like, do I have to buy a new respirator every time we have to spray? I mean, can you guys just take care of the super
Yeah,
nice respirator that I bought you? And like, where's the other pieces to this thing? Why is it broken?
yeah,
I went through that today, and it was just like, you know, you kind of have to choose your battles with who you hire, and
yeah,
um, yeah, ah,
We were talking about that on the last episode, as far as like letting go of some shit, people taking advantage or not taking care of equipment like that. It's like, man, I would probably, I don't know, have fired almost all of my team at this point if I had to be a stickler like that, you know.
well, here's my philosophy on that. I trained all my guys, so essentially it's my fault.
yeah,
So I can't get mad, and if I brought in a painter that actually knows what they're doing, there's so many more headaches that I'd have to deal with,
Yeah.
unless it's
yeah,
the right person. And the paintcation people coming over is awesome because they don't stay.
Yeah.
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 Dude, and even all these guys, when you go to put on guys that have experience, like when I was running lead for production, like I'd have guys that would come in, my boss would kind of kick me and be like, this dude wants your job, you know what I mean? Like he says he can do more than what you can, yada yada. So I would just fucking murder people, dude, and just like it was all competitive. Like there's always people trying to make moves on you and shit like that. And dude, no, but like 90%, 99% of everybody that came through, dude, were just fucking disposable, man. Like
Yep.
you don't, you just shit's not like it used to be in the '90s where everybody fucking got down.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the era that I grew up in. Painting was, well, probably late '90s, early 2000s. Um, but it was tough. It was like a year before I could do any painting. Fucking sanding, patching nail holes, caulking, masking, pretty much everything except for painting. Um, and then it was like, I had bosses where you had to learn how to paint with your left hand too. You can't just be a righty. Like you stand up on that step ladder, you're only painting 3 feet. Like use that other arm, then you get 6 feet. Like come on, man,
Yeah,
get your shit together. You're like, oh fuck, all right, I guess I'll learn how to use my left hand.
yeah,
Sit, you'll sit down when you pee.
Yeah.
yeah,
What?
But and
Oh
that,
yeah.
yeah, all that shit, like all the shit talking and the writing you, like it made
Oh
me a
god.
damn good painter.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I worked for about 15, 20 companies over the 30 years. Like even had to go back after owning my own businesses, and yeah, it's yeah. They- I've seen all kinds. I've worked with guys like Alpha, worked for guys, but I got along with guys like you because
Mhm.
I actually could back up what I was saying because I was a single parent and I was there for the money and do the work, and I had work ethic in my youth that I don't have as much now as I'm older. But yeah, I could hang with the big dogs, I guess, and but I didn't do it with the mouth thing. And there was always the one guy that would uh, go to the boss because he would fuck something up and then try and blame it on you, and he'd blame everybody for his crappy work, and he had the ear of the boss, and he'd be in the bathroom smoking meth and then try and get you fired. It's like, come on, man. Yeah,
yeah.
that
That's
you
it.
tend to
Not many people are
yeah,
leaders nowadays, man. Everybody's kind of self-appointing them, appointing themselves like, this and that, and they hadn't earned it. I may have
sure.
been, like the way I came up kind of, geared me up for, my whole fucking career. And I may have taken it to the extremes and stuff, but everybody that worked under me, dude, they can fucking get down. Like I've trained a lot of guys, and one thing I never did was, if I was going to run somebody into the ground and then, build a relationship with that person, eventually you're going to, break somebody down, build them back up, and, you take accountability for the team as a whole. Like leadership is not about taking credit. It's teamwork. And then, when something goes south, then you step up to the plate and take the blame for it, for your guys and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's lost these days, right? Like people respect that kind of a person, and I've had maybe one person, maybe two people in 20 years who had that kind of personality, where it's like they would ride everybody's ass, make them really good, but then also accept blame. Like they would take blame for what the team did wrong, not point at somebody else or not make excuses or whatever. But that's pretty rare nowadays, and I think I even have guys that don't want leadership. They don't want to be a leader, right? They don't want to get blamed. They don't want to be responsible for it. I have one guy who wants he wanted more money, but no leadership. Like I don't want to be in charge of anybody. I want no responsibility, but I want more money also. I'm like I can't do that. This fucking doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I have one of those guys, my lead guy, but he eventually over the years he decided that he had to accept some responsibility if he didn't want to do all the work himself.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was, and he's still. I just know there's a level that he can't go past. So I see that with all my guys, and I kind of adjust myself as an owner to fit into that. And I know I have to repeat things 5 times, and it still doesn't sink in half the time. So I mean, but you have to take what you can get sometimes. And I feel like if I browbeat somebody down, like this people are sensitive these days.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I fired shit off initially. I was like, dude, why don't I do for myself what I've always had to do for everyone else to make a living? And, started out that way. And it's like, fuck this, dude. I'm going to kind of slow shit down a little bit and, just kind of take my time getting there. I'm not going to fucking go full board like I used to, and just kind of, you know, I don't know. I'm having fun just trying to figure out, how this shit works. So,
Yeah, you came out of the gate hot. Like
yeah.
for me, when I started working for myself, it was slow. I mean, like small projects, like for a long time. I didn't graduate to full exteriors and full interiors. Like so I was maybe 4 or 5 years in. Before I actually started hiring anybody. I took a long time to grow. It was like maybe 10 years in. Um, fuck, I might have been at like $300,000 in sales for the year. 10 years in, um, I took a long time to grow, and then the next 10 years were more rapid growth. But first 10 years, like it
I'm
was a
s-
lifestyle business too.
I'm
You know.
scared to look at my numbers for fucking last year, and it was primarily just me and my brother. I think we had Raymond on the front end of it a little bit on his way out, but
Raymond.
yeah, year before last, I think I was well
We
over
all
two.
miss Raymond.
So my first full year, I was well over 200 grand, and with two guys, and then, well, I had an apprentice as well for like half the year, but I don't know where I'm fucking at, dude. It feels like I'm somewhere between 250 and three, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, I fucked off my taxes last year, so I'm scared to look at the numbers now.
Just gotta get a good tax person, man.
The evil
I've,
word taxes.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a tax person who's like super on the line, or maybe not, maybe
Yeah.
crossing over the line.
Does he work like over the phone?
Yeah, I don't know. Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if one day I just got arrested for some tax shit and the way that
Yeah.
she does things.
I wish I could get my accountant to do something shady with my
Yeah,
taxes, but she's so fucking clean cut on it. And I'm like, come on,
I got
just
lucky because I think that's
throw that
something
away.
that's really beneficial.
Yeah. No, this is my, I would say my third business venture. I started when I moved back here 8 years ago. But I've had two other businesses that I had to stop doing for different reasons. Like I shot too big, I spent too much money. Um, I was too young at the time, I think, uh, and I didn't have really good business sense. But all of those mistakes I made, I this business was like, this is the time to do it. I'm in a good space in my life without alcohol and other things involved. So it was a make it or break it kind of deal. And yeah, really good, but we still struggle.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we all fucking, we all, I make mistakes all the time, and they're usually not necessarily field mistakes. Sometimes, you make an estimating mistake or you project something wrong and it hits you in the pocketbook and shit. But in
Yep.
terms of like the field, man, like, I got to make all those mistakes before I started a business, because I waited so long before I went into business for myself. And I'm I have regret with that for like not doing it sooner, but then I also appreciate the fact of where I'm starting from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what took me so long to grow. Is like I knew knew I didn't know enough to just go for it. Like I wasn't like some of these people today where it's like, fuck it, I got a 1 year experience. I'm charging 25 grand to do this exterior, you know? Like that just wasn't me.
I'm a
Um
master painter. 1 year.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I grew slow, real slow in the beginning, just because I wanted to really know what I was doing, you know? It's like I had good experience going into that and I'd managed projects, but not for a long time. You know, the last company I worked for, I think I was getting paid like 17 or 18 bucks an hour, and I wanted 20. If he would have paid me 20, I would have stayed. And at that point, I was doing jobs on the weekends. You know, I had like an ad in the yellow pages, 20 bucks a month. Um, and, you know, I was making enough on the weekend. I was making more on the weekend than I did during the week, you know, and I was like booked out of ways, you know, so it was like I could take a chance and just go for it. Um, and he didn't want to pay me anymore, so I just went for it. But yeah, so because I didn't have as much experience, you know, if I would have been like maybe 10 years working for companies, I probably would have been better off, you know, but I was like four or
Yeah.
5 years working for companies. And so I got a good mix, you know, one company only did commercial work. One company was only residential repaints. One company did a lot of cabinet refinish work. So I got like good experience from the different companies and I had some good bosses and some assholes. Um, and most of the employees that were on these companies were good painters, you know, like they were, man, I'm trying to think, like there weren't many bad painters when I was growing up painting. You know, there
No,
were guys that were like,
it was
you
too
know,
Yeah,
competitive
yeah,
back then, man. It was, and
yeah.
that's the thing. Like the whole mentality of the industry now, where it's entrepreneurship versus experience,
yeah.
and like it's killing it, dude. It's killing the fucking industry. The fucking Idaho painters, the fucking splash painters. I don't give a fuck. Like if this podcast doesn't fucking take off because I said some stupid shit like that, just fucking be real about it. But these people are devaluing our fucking trade, dude. You know, back in the day,
100%.
like
Yes, I'm with you.
if you didn't bust knuckles, dude, you fucking had to go. Like if you,
Yeah.
then that's just how it was. You were fucking expendable. Now
Mhm.
everybody is their own special little fucking butterfly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Caterpillar up, man. Well, yeah, I've talked to you about this like over time too. Like, um, a paid apprenticeship is a way to learn. Not going to a school of some sort. Learning online through YouTube videos. Like that's why I did the paintcation thing. Like people want to come over, I pay them to come over. If they want to learn something, they do. Most people walk away with some knowledge that do come over, and I think that's kind of the right way to do it. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but you have to be the type of person that can manage people as well,
Mm.
and figure out their strengths and their unstrengths. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That comes with age and time, and like imagine like what would you consider the contrast? Like I sit here and kick myself in the ass for not doing it sooner. But then, what would it be like to be, some fucking dude that's just pulling the trigger on something that he knows nothing about? Like, what's the counter to that? You look at, I go into the paint store every day and look at the fucking 20 new business cards that are in there a month of the guys that aren't going to be there the next month
Mhm.
and shit. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's a weird fucking, the industry is weird right now, dude. It's just, it's fucking upside down. I don't get it, but
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go back though. I think that it gets worse and worse. I think
yeah.
that it becomes commercialized almost all the way, and then you just have mom and pop shops left behind,
So
right? You still
do
have
you
some
think it
mom and pop
implodes on
shops.
itself? Do you think that like it turns into some fucking like online fucking, you have an app to order your fucking retarded painter, or
Yeah.
do you think it's do you think that the strong fucking survive? You know what I mean? Like the guys that don't have experience kind of start losing money, and the people aren't happy, and then you just have like, after 2008, like there was only a few of us in this area that fucking made it
Hmm.
out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um like, is it going to be a situation like that, or is it going to be some weird fucking Elon Musk fucking what is that fucking what is that the that his first business? What was that? The Serta painters or some shit?
Oh
Sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
pro,
Yeah,
sort of
Serta.
pro.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be some
Uh,
bullshit like that, or
College
what I mean?
Pro.
Like
oh
College
yeah, yeah.
Pro and Serta Pro and
Uh, yeah, I think it is going to be all franchise stuff. I think there's going to be mom and pop shops. I think it's going to be like the way of the restaurants, right? Where it's like the hole in the wall restaurant. Everybody knows that place is like the best, right? But Chili's is everywhere. Like fucking these fast food chains are everywhere. They're taking over everything, especially over like COVID. All those mom and pop shops went out of business because nobody helped them out. But then all the franchises are buying out their space now for super cheap because no one else will, and now they're blowing up even more. I think that's gonna be the same thing with painting. Is there's gonna be mom and pop shops still, that do really high quality work that people in the know would choose them. So I think there would be a place for that forever. Just like I don't know if you want like something nice made out of leather. Like there's gonna be specific people that you would go to for something like that, and you're going to pay more for it, but you appreciate quality. You appreciate something handmade, you appreciate something custom. Like it's going to cost more, but that's what you're looking for. You know,
yeah.
you're not going to go to the Nordstrom's or something like that and get some commercial piece that everybody has. I think painting's going to be like that, like because I think the customer service thing is what any new painting company coming in.
Like you
And
order your paint crew from on
yeah,
Walmart.com.
seriously, for real, I'm not even joking. Like that's going
Fucking
to be, and so like all these painting companies that are starting right now are like all these guys who are like, how do I get business? How do I stay busy? I'm so slow right now, right? Like they're going to sign up with Walmart and they're going to be a paint crew. And Joe
Yeah.
Schmo's going to log on to Walmart.com, order my painters for my interior painting for $39.95, and Joe Schmo Painting Company is going to do it for $1,500.
that would be
And
fucked
Walmart's going
if
to
it
make
was
their
like
thousand
that though.
dollars. But
Like,
Walmart's going to stand behind it. Joe Schmo Painter has to wear the proper attire. They have to clock in the right way. They have to fill
yeah,
out their forms. And
Tinder,
Walmart's
Tinder
just going
for
to make a thousand
painters.
bucks a job,
yeah.
but times a million jobs.
It may as
Swipe
Yeah,
fucking
right.
well
swipe left,
be.
swipe right. Yep,
Yeah.
Tinder for painters. Pinder.
yeah,
Boop. No. Oh.
yep. And you just
Yeah.
order,
Yeah.
and it's like because there's a way to do it where they could be accurate enough automatically. Like if somebody logged in to Walmart.com and it was a questionnaire on your exterior, and homeowner, you have to do your own measurements. Like fuck, I don't know. You download our Walmart painting app. It has a little laser pointer, a laser measurer, and you take a picture of each side of the house and use your
Oh
Walmart
shit.
app laser measurer and submit your details, and we spit out a price. It'll be between $39.95 and $49.95. Do you accept? Yes. Boom, done. Like,
Uh,
because everything is customer service right now. Like all the Nick Slavics and the what's his name, the other Nick, um, they all push the customer service, and all the big companies, like if you go to the PCA, everything is about customer service. They don't talk about skilled craftsmen at all. All it is customer
scaling,
service. Look at your
scaling,
numbers. Yeah, that's it.
scale
And
your business, or it's not
yeah,
going to work.
that's it. That's all it is scaling. How do you systemize it so you can scale it, right? And customer service is like the biggest thing. Um,
Yeah.
if your customer service is top notch, your painting can be really like very average, and you'll still be a successful company. And I think that's where like people's expectations are just going to look, well, they're already lowering, right? It's like if you show up on time, it's like, whoa, you're the only guy that showed up on time. That's great. Uh, oh, you answered your phone. Like that's fantastic. It's like, dude, that like those are the very most basic things you could do, and I'm already like one leg up on everyone else.
I don't think it will get that bad, because
Walmart.com.
I would just kill myself if I knew that was coming. But
It it doesn't matter what you put on my house or even the work you do. I'm just glad you came with a smile and you showed up on
Yep.
time and answered your
yeah,
phone. Who cares about the
Exactly.
actual work?
yeah. Order your next repaint in 6 months when it's all falling off.
You
Yeah.
had 40 you have 40,000 followers that you probably bought, but just because of that, we're going to hire you. Yeah.
Yep.
You talk a good
Whoa.
game.
You brought up that you brought that PCA thing up though. Isn't what bothers me about that, dude, is like I don't know shit about it really, but I kind of, from the outside have seen a few things here and there, but that's, in my opinion, super damaging to the fucking industry. If you are empowering people with the means to run a business that know nothing about said business, you know what I mean? That's kind of
Yep.
why would you damage the industry like that? Well, obviously you're trying to extort money from it. You know what I mean? Like, are you not making enough money actually painting that you want to try and, sell something that doesn't actually exist to,
Yep.
people that want to be into this? But like, it doesn't make any sense. It's a complete disrespect for the trade. Like, if you're, that's how you're going to treat the fucking, the business that puts food on the fucking table, dude. That's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Hey, remember that you was telling me about Idaho's bid packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, like talk about that, dude, because that was
So
pretty funny.
over the years, I want to talk about
Wait,
PCA
wait,
too.
wait. He actually bid jobs at some time? I mean, he actually painted?
Yeah.
What?
From the looks of his bid packet, I would say no.
I- Is it a bid
Um,
hack? Is it
yeah.
how to hack
So
bids? Okay, all right.
I've always like bought things online like that look like, oh, this would be interesting. Let me see if it's anything good, right? Like I've downloaded fucking 10 million apps about painting and all the books and the profits for painting and whatever, right? I've been a connoisseur of shitty painting uh, stuff over the last 20 years. And um, his bid package or packet or whatever it's called, maybe like it's got to be like 5 years ago or something like that. I don't know. It was a little while ago, but I bought it. I want to say it was like $100 or $89, something like that. And I bought it and downloaded it, and um, it was like the most basic like Word doc. Like I mean, I could probably make it right now in like
Uh,
five
it was
minutes,
a
maybe less than 5 minutes.
it was a
And
coloring book.
it was
What?
so
What?
basic. I was like, there's no way this can be it. Like I would be embarrassed if I tried to sell something like this, especially for $89, and especially if I called it like a bid package. Like, dude, I wouldn't even send this to my client. Like this shit is embarrassing. How are you charging people for this? And I and
Well,
I
did
emailed them like, is this all that came with the package? Like, I'm not looking at this wrong. There's not different tabs that are missing. Like, this is it. I'm like, dude, you guys can't sell this. You know, I literally wrote that in, like, you guys should not be selling this. This isn't right. You know, and they refunded my money, never responded or anything, just refunded my money. It's like,
Well,
fuck, man, that's
now
crazy.
it's like $300 for the big packet. Now he's
Yeah,
got a
well,
new one
What?
of some.
hopefully they
Yeah, yeah. I
made some
saw an ad.
changes.
I noticed that potato sauna, the spray booth thing, went down in price from it was like over 2 grand. I seen it like it pop.
Potatoes
It
on.
pisses me off because it pops up on my Instagram. You know,
I see it so much.
motherfucker, and it's like it's down to like $600 or something now,
Oh
which
wow.
is
Uh,
down from thousands of dollars. But just so everyone knows, you can still buy an blow up automotive spray booth for like half that price.
Yeah.
I set up my two pop-up tents yesterday, and we have an awesome spray booth, and it's yeah,
Yep.
$100 each, man. Costco, boom.
That's what
Yeah,
we use. We use the pop-up
yeah.
tents a lot.
Hey, my
Yeah.
tent, my I have like a fucking it's like a car garage. I don't know what the fuck you call it. But yeah, mine was like $175 or something stupid like that, or
Hmm.
115. But there's no way I could break the thing down and take it somewhere. It's super hard to fucking set up. But do you have a lead on, like, I noticed you putting up your booth the other day. Is that pretty easy to set it up? Whatever booth you
Man,
have.
yeah, it took us about 20 minutes with three of us.
Damn.
Yeah, just put drops down on the ground and got a couple folding tables. Got my little spinny
Yep.
rack for. Yeah, I'll be posting about it. It's on a bunch of my videos, and then I have, the racks for all my stuff are pizza pan racks from Restaurant Supply, and there's four of them, and you can push them all together. So it's about if you wanted to compile it and throw it in your truck, it's super easy. And we could actually set up a booth on site, which we have many times. And yeah, it's just everybody's trying to make a buck, man, on new inventions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the same. It's, so we just use like the 10 by 10 pop-up canopy. Like
Yep.
people have them at the beach or at sports parks or whatever. We use those. Yeah, like $70, $100 maybe at the most. And we'll tape up 3 walls of plastic, keep one side open. Um, and yeah, we do doors on site a lot. We have good weather here, so we can
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
pretty much year round. We don't have to worry about too hot or too humid or anything like that. But we've been using those things for years. And then I have like 4 or 5 of those rolling door racks. I don't know who makes them.
They're too
Uh,
expensive, man. Like every
yeah, it's like $400.
dude, yeah, I built my racks for like $75 and I can fit
Yeah,
like I had to cut the top of it off, but I could fit 60 doors on it
yeah.
originally.
So these ones will hold 50 doors, and it's
Really?
yeah, yeah,
Well, 50 isn't bad. Everything that I see online is like it's like $400 and it only holds like 15 doors.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, these ones will usually hold a kitchen or at least close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and they're nice racks, but still, even now, like I'm gonna have to replace them because the little metal things are wearing out, so the racks sag too much, and I don't
My
know.
my brother's neighbor is a welder and I've been really considering like having him build weld me some and then getting like some silicone slides to like slide over
Yeah.
the rods.
Hmm.
I'm
Yep.
cheap and I have limited space, so I
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I come up with ingenious ideas, but then there's no ingenuity anymore because everybody's got the newest tool of the month. That's like something that you were doing beforehand with a piece of duct tape.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what's next?
Yep. I know. That's how it goes. All right. I think we'll wrap this up soon, but I want to talk about your Envirolak project, Sam. You've been doing a bunch of Envirolak stuff lately. How are you liking it?
So far so good, man. I was Let's give a little history on my cabinet refinishing. We did oil for many years,
Mm.
um, straight oil over lacquers. I did a bunch of lacquer for years. I switched to the emerald urethane and Benjamin Moore Advanced and tried that process with like bin or cover stain, kills even, and then that as a top coat. It's taking too long to dry, taking too long to cure. There was always problems with it, so I stopped doing cabinets.
Mm.
absolutely hated doing cabinets, I would say, nope, call a cabinet company. Um, I got some of the Envirolak because I bid it high enough, and then I was like, oh, let's try this. Blocks tannins, yeah, right. Water based, yeah, right. We'll see.
Mhm.
Uh, First cabinets were maple going um, white, and that's the big tester. You catalyze the primer, and I did one coat, did a bunch of testers with it. It actually blocked the tannins. I was shocked. There was one spot that I didn't, and I just second hit it with a second
Mhm.
coat, catalyzed. It was great. I can spray one side, rack them. By the time I'm done, start again, and I can flip them in the same day
Yeah.
to do the primer. Then I can do even start to finish that day. We do the boxes on site. Like I was going to set up to spray all these boxes, but the last job we did, I was able to foam roll
Mm.
a section and it came out perfect. Um, I mean, you could kind of tell the difference between a foam roller and it being sprayed if you know what you're looking at.
Right.
But compared to like emerald urethane or anything like that, it's night or day,
Yeah.
easily. Um, I know there's similar products like Centurion, but I don't have access to any of that. I don't have access to Renner
Mhm.
because of my location, and it happens to be right here. So I tried it. It worked. It works great, man. Like it cut 3 days off my cabinet
Yeah.
time. It cut off a lot of the headache of fear of like, oh, it's going to chip in a month.
Mhm.
Go back and do touch ups. Cabinets sticking together when you
Yeah.
know close them. No, it's yeah. I'm sold. I'm
Yeah. So
actually
we had
like
talked about this. Yeah, we had talked about this because Aaron's getting ready to do a big project with the Centurion,
yeah
and um, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about the this 2K stuff. We're using Ilva. That's the main product here that I can get a hold of easily. And I've used the render a little bit. I've used boy, I can't even think of what this other product is called.
Malaysia.
No, not that one. It's a lesser known one, but it's a local company, maybe an hour away. And they all seem to be very similar. You know, they're all getting like really hard finishes. It's between all of them, like it's the closest thing I've ever seen to lacquer as far as how smooth it looks, how it feels. Like you could do a kitchen set in one of these 2K products, and I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. If you told me this is 2K or lacquer, I probably wouldn't know. You know, I'd have to guess at it. Um, they're impressive products. I haven't found any primers that I like yet, but I haven't tried a lot of them. So we're still doing like shellac prime, and then we'll use some of the impregnator primers for Ilva, but I haven't tried like 1107 and any of these newer primers that
Yeah.
are supposed to be really good.
I'm not sure what the number is on the Envirolac primer that I have. I think it's like 170 or
Yeah,
100 catalyzed or whatever. But so far so good with the tannin blocking and adhesion.
yeah,
It had a couple little bubbles here and there, but dude, the touch up on that stuff. Oh my God,
mm,
dude! Like you can foam roll on a big panel a little spot and you can't even tell. Or you just foam roll the whole panel out real quick and
yeah.
yeah, I redid my entire cabinet estimating game. We're actually pushing more towards cabinets.
Hmm.
Everybody else in my area that doesn't want to do cabinets, all the other painters, they're referring me,
Yeah,
and we might just go straight cabinets. That'd be great.
yeah.
How much sanding are you doing? Like with something that was previously stain and lacquer, and switching it to Envirolak? Like how much sanding do you feel you got to put in? Are you just etching the lacquer? Um, so you're not trying to burn through that and expose any raw wood, or is exposing raw wood happening naturally, or
We're doing 180. We're doing 180
Yeah,
grit. That's what
that's what we use.
we're.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we'll burn through some edges, not necessarily purposely. Um, doesn't hurt, I'm sure, but we're not trying to remove the coating or anything like that. But we'll
yeah,
get it to 180 grit. That way, everything is buffed, and that gives enough for it to stick to it. You know.
I'm pre-sanding. I'm pre-sanding right now with the, and which I'm probably gonna bump to the. I can't remember what millimeter they are, like 3 millimeter, fucking 33 or whatever the fuck. I don't remember. But I'm using half-inch pads right now from Surf Prep, and they're the medium pads, and they say 60 grit. I don't know what the fucking deal is with Surf Prep, but all of their fucking sandpaper is like wrong, like
Yeah.
it's not what they say it is, but I like it for certain stuff. But I'm kind of test sanding some shit with the medium, which is supposedly 60 grit, which is not fucking 60 grit, but I'm everything's powdering for me, and I'm probably exposing some corners here and there, and I'm hoping it's etched enough. But the reason I ask is because I'm sure Centurion and Envirolak are somewhat similar, and dude, like, how is the surface tension with it? Like, do you feel that even if you maybe didn't sand through enough, you're still gonna get good surface tension? You're still gonna get good adhesion?
Yeah, the first batch we did, it didn't have, well, I mean, we didn't even clean them because they were pretty clean cabinets. And I think we used 320 and just deglossed and did the catalyzed primer and even did the scratch test, and it was solid. The, the current set we have now was covered in like furniture polish or some type of, kitchen grease,
Yeah,
whatever. We ended up taking crud cutter because we
Yeah.
started sanding and it just gummed up, and
yeah,
we took crud cutter and took a scouring pad and
cleaned them.
actually cleaned every square inch of it, and then we took 180 and hit it over because I was concerned because it is water based. If there is something on the surface still, yeah, you
Yeah.
you just gonna have to pay more attention. But after we cleaned them, my sandpaper didn't gum up as
Yeah,
much. It still did a little bit, but yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
I usually like degrease, and that's I need to find a decent degreaser. I've used some degreasers that felt like they left an oily residue, which made me nervous. But I usually
Mhm.
degrease, then I'll degloss with peso before I sand.
We actually we wiped it down with a wet rag after
Yeah,
we did the crud cutter on it. Then we wrung it out, wiped it with a wet rag, several times until it wasn't showing grime on the rag.
yeah,
I've done a lot of testing on these 2K products because we were all lacquer for a long time, like the last, I don't know, 12 years, 15 years. And for me to switch over to water based was like, I wanted to because would like to use water based, but there was no way. I was thinking there's no way like any water base is even close. And there really hasn't been until these 2K products start coming out. Um,
Oh, no doubt I keep some cover stain around still,
oh,
just in
yeah, for
case.
sure. Yeah, for spot priming. Um, yeah, but so I did a bunch of testing. Like I've done testing over the last year or so, just in the shop, like scratch tests and raw wood and, the, I didn't do the cabinet doors sitting in a bucket of water for 3 days. I haven't done that one yet, but,
Oh, I saw
uh,
that video.
yeah. Just in case your kitchen cabinets are ever, flooded for 3 days.
New
Coating
Orleans,
still holds
man.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But I did testing on it like all different ways, and I had a couple where it didn't get. So I've had some adhesion where on oak doors that had finish on them already, where if there was grain in the wood, that was enough for it to bite onto, and it was locked in. Like I could scratch it; it wasn't coming off at all. Um, and then I've done the finish with no primer over wood, and that holds on really well. Like hardcore scratch test with the keys, like the shit's not coming off. It'll dent the wood before the material comes off. Um, and the with going straight over old like varnish or polyurethane, whatever it was, um, straight over that, it would scratch off. going product straight over that with no deglossing, no sanding, no anything. So I think you need some kind of mechanical adhesion or mechanical scuffing, but we do 180 on all our cabinets, and we
Are
get
you
expert
familiar
adhesion
with the surf prep pads?
a little bit.
Do you
No.
no?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they don't do grits; they do like fine, extra fine, medium,
Well,
coarse.
I've only seen medium and fine, but the medium is rated at 60 grit, and I could probably just sit there and run that thing on my fucking leg, and it's not going to sand my leg off.
Yeah,
You know,
60
it's
grits like little baby rocks in there.
I'm not like you. I saw the Idaho painter using surf prep and Splash using surf prep, and I was like, I've got Festols and Mercos. I'm okay.
Yeah,
yeah. I never bought the sander. I bought the pads because
Uh,
Festool doesn't have anything that will conform to profile. So I bought
yeah.
the stuff in hopes that, well, say I had a felling door jamb outside and I could sand the profile. It doesn't really work, but I've come to find that the pads are great for sanding pre-primed doors
They're
and
nice pads. It's nice
yeah,
yeah.
sandpaper. Yeah,
it's
I've
not very aggressive. Like I'll sand my
yeah.
primer with the fine, and I'll pre-sand with the medium. But yeah, I was just kind of double checking to see if you guys had used it because curious about my surface tension, having not used this product. But I'll probably do a test run of it before I go
Yeah.
too crazy and just double check, make sure I have it etched enough.
And a lot of this stuff is like super durable even as 1K products. Not all of them can be used as 1K, without the catalyst. Um, but like the Ilva that we're using, we'll do 1K, no catalyst, like on bookcases or built in units and stuff like that. And this shit is super durable. I mean, it's really impressive. Impressive
Yeah,
coatings.
the Envirolak you can opt to use the catalyst or not on the top coats as well. And I haven't
Mhm.
used it on the top coats, but I might try it on this batch.
Yeah.
Sam, do you feel confident putting frog tape on that shit like a day or two after?
I have never bought frog tape.
Mhm.
Well,
Is that
how
okay?
about
Yeah,
some CP66 or some 2020 plus?
yeah, absolutely, man. I actually after the day after I've sprayed them, we stack them together and put them in the truck, wrap drop cloths around them, drive them to the job. No
Well,
problems at
like
all.
say you shot a set of cabinets, and then you encapsulate them in plastic to spray all your walls and ceilings up to them. Do you feel that your tape's not going to do damage to the cabinets?
Absolutely not. No.
It
Yeah, we've done that. We've
Yeah.
done that quite a bit. And it always worries me. I always wish my guys wouldn't do that, but my guys trust it. They're like, no, it'll be fine. We're okay. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
But yeah, no issues. Um, it's it's impressive stuff. Yeah, and the stacking and the like, they don't scratch very easily at all. Like
No.
it's pretty
I
cool,
saw
cool
somebody
product.
doing a weed whacker against one in a video the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly how durable it is. I have little
Yeah,
slugs that I take with me when I go to cabinet bids. It's a piece of plywood that some carpenter gave me as cabinet doors, and they didn't work for him because they were plywood. So I have the samples. I chop them up and I take them and show the customer like this is what you're gonna get, and this side has foam roll, this side is sprayed. I don't usually tell them that, but I just kind of let them
yeah,
feel around on it and show them how durable it is.
yeah.
Nice.
Cool stuff. When do you start spraying on that, Aaron?
Uh, fuck if I know, dude.
It's
I'm gonna be sanding for at least a fucking couple weeks.
crazy. That's a big project.
You want me to come over, man? I'll come over for a couple weeks.
This
Yeah.
job's hourly.
Hmm.
I don't know if I could afford your hourly though.
I don't even know what my hourly is anymore. I go by the week now. How much do I want to make a week? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That
averages out
that
over a
would be
year.
cool though. That would fucking be cool if I could do it. If you weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
If I could legit justify something like that, I would do that on this job. Whether
What's
it
your
was
weather like out there right now?
Oh yeah,
uh
that's right. Weather.
we're kind of changing over to spring, so we had some snow a couple weeks ago, but like I think it was in the 60s today.
That's not
But
bad.
this place, it can throw some curveballs at you. Like it could be 70 tomorrow, but then the day after it could be fucking 15 degrees and icing.
Oh,
So
shit.
it until you're like dead into summer, you don't really fucking know what's gonna happen.
And then dead into summer, it's 100 degrees
Yeah,
plus with
dude, it's
high
fucking
humidity,
miserable, dude.
200%
Yeah,
humidity.
I
Like,
would I would say 90s probably a round number with 100 fucking percent humidity.
yeah,
It's beautiful
Yeah.
weather.
yeah.
But dude, I went down to South Carolina or North Carolina and Florida a little bit, and it felt. And I was checking the humidity, like, Why is it so fucking humid here? And the humidity was reading lower from what the weather was saying, but it just felt stickier to me. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know?
So we do a trip to Hilton Head every other year. With my wife has East Coast family, and so I guess they used to vacation there. And her family's like wealthy East Coasters, and so uh, our family and then all their families meet up, and we rent a bunch of condos and shit. And yeah, it's pretty damn humid there. Like you just commit to sweating, you
Yeah,
know. Just that's everybody's sweating, so it's not weird.
dude. When I took when I first came out here, I took a flight from I think LAX to Denver, and then I had to get on this fucking little like four-seater propeller plane to come out here. They have like the smaller commercial airliners in Springfield now, but when I first got here, I think I was like 14, and I hadn't seen the outdoors anywhere. I was just going from airport to airport, and as soon as those fucking doors opened, dude, and hit me when I'd never left Southern California,
Yeah.
and it was like, what the fuck did I do, dude? Because I came out like dead in the summer, and then I'm living with my mom, and she doesn't live very well, and I'm in a fucking 10 trailer, and I couldn't sleep for fucking months because all I could hear was like crickets. I don't know if it was like cicadas or whatever, dude, but I was used to hearing gunshots and shit at night, man, and
Yeah,
fucking
real
all
animals.
I can hear is just nonstop crickets, and like it was a fucking nightmare coming out here, and
Yeah.
I ended up getting stuck here, so but
I I can hear the waves at night. It's great.
yeah.
It's just that. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's a rumbling wave. Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No, but you hear cars speeding around, and no gunshots or anything, and yeah. I've lived in those places, so that's why I'm here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to end up in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, you grow up here and you leave when you're 17 years old, and always plan on coming back. And then yeah, it was the right time. In my I guess I was 40. Yeah, 40 when I came back. It was like, all right, I've had
Yeah,
enough of this winter depression. No painting in the winter times, or have to go bartend, or
yeah.
have to go work for somebody else. No, I don't want to do that ever again. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
best decision I ever made. And yeah, come on over,
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take because my old lady has like her best friends there and shit. So we're we're gonna have to make a trip out there, dude.
Yeah, paint the con of Hawaii, man. Paint the con. Do it.
Even if it's one of those budget trips where she's on vacation and I'm fucking working.
You got to pay for that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad gig. All right, we got to wrap this up. Thanks, Sam, for hopping on.
Hey, man, anytime, man. I'd
Yeah, we'll
like to
do
get
more of
on.
these for sure. Like
Yeah.
we got to do a tool talk for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. What were we calling it? Gimmick or game changer?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, no,
All
hey,
right,
thanks for having me, guys. I have much respect for both you guys always, man, and keep
same
up the
here.
good fight
Yeah,
always.
Yeah.
man.
And
I
thanks,
appreciate you.
Alan. Appreciate
All
you.
righty. As always, please like our YouTube page. Give us 5-star only reviews on all podcast platforms. If you have questions or comments, send them over to hello@paintsniffers.com or on Instagram at paint_sniffers.
You can also watch the video version of the podcast on the Alpha Painting YouTube page. Go to playlists and it will be filed under Paint Sniffer Podcast. Via YouTube, you can write into QA@paintsniffer.com.
Thank you for listening to Paint Sniffer Podcast.